Platinum Games is a successful and reputable developer notable for such hits as Bayonetta, Astral Chain, and Big Mama's House, but despite not being a broke indie developer, they've still resorted to using Kickstarter to fund a remaster for a game that's already been finished for like 87 years. And in case you didn't read the title of the video before clicking on it, I'm talking about The Wonderful 101. Your first instinct might be to call this a scam, which was actually the first thing that popped into my head if I'm being honest, but if you think about it for like 30 to 47 seconds, then you'll probably realize that not only is this anything but a scam, but it's actually brilliant. And if you ask my mustard-deficient BUT, I think it's one of the coolest things ever, not because of this one game, but because of the possibilities it holds for the future. What kinds of possibilities am I talking about? Well, sit back in your YouTube viewing bench, bury the hatchet with Ricky Whitley for firing you from his heating and cooling company, press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and allow me, the most average-sized human being alive, CameronAllOneWord, to tell you why the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter's not a scam. Alright, so as far as the actual Wonderful 101 game's concerned, I absolutely loved it for the 3 to 4 hours that I played it, but then I just kinda started playing other stuff, which might seem like I wasn't having fun, but as much as I hate to admit it, I kinda just do that with games sometimes. I mean, I do occasionally go back and finish abandoned games, but even though I went back and finished Tokyo Mirage Sessions after I had a Switch, I kinda just assumed that a Wonderful 101 port was inevitable. And ironically enough, Tokyo Mirage Sessions ended up getting a port first, despite being the less popular game of the two. But the thing about every other Wii U port up until this point, though, is that none of them required Kickstarters, they all just kinda happened. And about 85% of my knowledge, they all sold out the ass too, which is why I thought it was a little bit weird that Platinum Games was essentially wanting us to pay money for them to release a product that a lot of people have been asking for, which would then in turn make them even more money. However, whenever fans overwhelmingly ask for something, they don't necessarily always follow through and buy it. They might mean it when they say it, but sometimes when a game finally comes out, people either forget how badly they wanted it in the first place, or they might still want it, but not as badly as other games that are coming out around the same time. I mean, if I'm being honest, I was one of the people begging for Luigi's Mansion 3 ever since Dark Moon, and as of February 2020, I still haven't bought it, let alone play it. It's not that I lost interest in it or anything, it's just that there's so many other games I'm trying to play right now, and I'm already late, so what's a few more months, you know? Thankfully, no one else out there was a jabroni like me and actually bought the game, because had it sold poorly, then Nintendo would have thought twice next time before giving the people what they wanted. I remember people were pretty upset when Reggie-san said that fans asking for Mother 3 doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna buy it, and even though I'm sure that game would be profitable for Nintendo to release, I do understand the concern, at least back then anyway. I mean, fans have complained for years about wanting a new 2D Metroid game, and they even buried Federation Forces over it. But then when Samus Returns came out for the 3DS, everybody ignored it harder than my wife Chili ignores me whenever the bedroom maintenance guy Steve makes his weekly visit. I still haven't figured out why that is, come to think of it. But anyway, the Wonderful 101 originally tanked pretty hard, even by Wii U standards, so at the very least, it's safe to say that porting it would have been a legitimate financial risk, especially with Platinum Games recently deciding to publish games themselves from now on, and even though it is just a port/remaster, it's not like it's free or anything. I always joke about how porting Wii U games over to the Switch is pretty much copy and pasting and shouldn't take more than like 5 minutes, but there is a little bit more to it than that thanks to the gamepad, which admittedly wasn't really necessary in the original 101 in the first place. However, taking those mechanics away is still probably enough work to where it wouldn't be worth doing it if the game failed. But thanks to Kickstarter, fans have a chance to put their money where their mouth is and pay for it without Platinum having to take any kind of risk, as opposed to just retweeting something or signing a petition regardless of whether or not you actually own a Switch. And not only was the bare-ass minimum goal only $50,000 anyway, but it's not like you have to pay money for the option to buy the game or anything like that, since this Kickstarter gives you the option to not only buy a physical copy of the game right now, which shouldn't be a problem if you planned on buying the game anyway, but to buy a copy with a cover that you can only get via Kickstarter that's going to be a lot cooler for collectors to have. And even though you do have the option to donate less money for no rewards, at the end of the day, it's not like anyone's forcing you to do so. However, should you choose to do nothing and decide later on you want to buy the game anyway, that's now an option you're going to have thanks to all these backers raising over $1 million as of this recording one day after the campaign went live. And that means we're going to get a brand new time attack mode, and it's looking like we're also going to get a brand new side-scrolling 2D game as well, and I think that's pretty cool. Because not only do over 100 million people get a chance to play the Wonderful 101 now, but this new version's going to be even better than before. Especially if Platinum just reluctantly copy and pasted everything, hoping for the best. Making a Kickstarter for a remaster just cuts the bullcarp and determines how successful a game's gonna be right off the bat, while also determining how much effort's worth putting into making improvements. I mean, there's usually disappointment whenever games are just copy and pasted onto another console, but it also sucks for a publisher to put a lot of work into something, only for it to go unappreciated and lose money. And I think the only reason why using Kickstarter for a game that already exists felt so weird is really just because it's never been done before. And the perception I had is that crowdfunding's meant for companies who can't afford to create a game from scratch, but in some ways, this might actually be better, because like Shy Guy said, this way we already know what we're getting as opposed to games that end up disappointing like Mighty Number 9. And in case you don't remember, that game was supposed to be Mega Man's spiritual successor, made by the original creator, Johnny That Mega Man Guy Quigzor. And without even seeing a single piece of gameplay, that game ended up getting fully funded, and then it was delayed like 800 times and ended up sucking ass at the end of the day. But seeing as how one of the goals for Wonderful 101's for there to be a PS4 release rather than the PS5, I'd say that Platinum plans on releasing this in the near future. In fact, come to think of it, if you wanted this game to come out sooner and didn't care about a time attack mode or anything like that, then I guess you probably should have hoped for the Kickstarter to have not been as successful. If you ask me though, I think being impatient to the point where you want to remaster as soon as possible without any improvements is just plain silly since we already have the Wii U version. And if you don't want the remaster to have any improvements, then why do you even want to remaster at all? I mean, after all, they do kinda have to make up for the lost gamepad features. And besides, not only does a Kickstarter offer practical rewards like getting a better game in the end, but there's also some fun ones as well, including the game's director sending you a mean tweet and blocking you immediately after, which apparently he's been known to do for free over the years. I mean, it's honestly better than what they've done with a few JRPGs from time to time by localizing games that might not sell well, but to make sure they don't lose money, only release a super ultra premium edition that costs like $20 to $30 extra. Don't get me wrong though, I'd rather have the option to pay a little bit extra for a game that forces rewards on you rather than never get it at all, but I just think that crowdfunding's an ass hair better since you're really just pre-ordering the game and eliminating the risk for the publisher, making it a win-win for everybody except this jerk-ass right here. And now that Platinum set the precedent that crowdfunding games that already exist can work, there's all kinds of possibilities for the future. And I think it'd be pretty cool to finally get localizations for games that never left Japan like Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei 2 for the Famicom. And I think it'd be pretty cool to finally get localizations for games that never left Japan like Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei 2 on the Famicom that still hasn't been translated by fans, cause apparently the entire community's been waiting on this one guy to finish it for over a decade. And I dare say it'd be outstanding to do physical releases for these games on their original consoles as a reward. But in the meantime though, I'm glad Wonderful 101's finally gonna get the fair non-Wii U shot at success that it deserves. Because that game was way too fun and original to just be buried forever. But anyway, what do you think about the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter though? Do you think it's weird for a company with money to use crowdfunding, or do you think gauging interest by taking pre-orders up front's just playing it safe? Either way, vote in the upper right corner and let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, I'll try my goddamnedest to respond to everybody. But let me tell you, if there's two people who need Kickstarters for a remaster, then it would definitely be today's patrons of the day, Andrew Lawler and Israel DeSarios. If you want to be badasses like these two, then consider supporting FU Game Crew on Patreon for loot boxes in the mail and other wacky rewards. And if you want to make a cameo, then send pictures or videos of you rocking any FU Game Crew merch like these legendary human beings you see before you. As always, like and share this video anywhere on the internet to help this channel grow. And if you want to prove that you're not down with registered sex offenders, then go ahead and press the subscribe button if you haven't already. My name's CameronAllOneWord, and I'll be back with more videos soon.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.